Right, everybody, welcome back to Ask a Catholic Therapist. It's been a while. I know, I apologize. I've been so bad at posting. My hope is to actually be more frequent about it. The truth is, I've been moving into a new space, so hopefully I can keep a lot of the equipment set up already. And anyway, life has been busy, but I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be recording again. And I thought we'd jump in. Here's the other thing I'm going to do. Most of these questions I'm just going to try to answer off the cuff. So that means I'll be able to post more frequently, but you'll just have to be patient with, I don't know, me thinking through questions in real time, like on the fly. So, okay, let me answer this first question. Can feelings be sinful? When I feel annoyed or frustrated with people in my life, is it a sin I need to confess? So are our feelings sinful? The short answer is no. Feelings are not per se sinful. Our feelings are amoral. That is, there's not a moral valence to a feeling because feelings just arise in response to events. You don't willfully choose to have feelings arise. It's not like you say to yourself, I'm gonna feel angry here, or I'm gonna feel sad here. Feelings, at least overwhelmingly, feelings tend to arise spontaneously. So for that very reason, because they arise spontaneously as the result of some object or event or thought in our perceptual awareness, we don't volitionally choose them, we don't willfully choose them, therefore they're not moral. We can only be morally culpable for what we can choose. Now, here's some caveats around that. So while feelings in their initial arising, their initial sort of our initial emotional reaction is not per se sinful, it's amoral. When can feelings become sinful? I think feelings can become sinful in a couple cases. The first is when we've had an emotional reaction that is the wrong emotional reaction. So let's say we're aware of it, like you become really, really frustrated or agitated at, an elderly person, who's driving too slow, or you fail to have a charitable response. You feel this anger, right? You get really annoyed. If you choose to nurse that feeling, if you choose to feed that feeling, if you choose to hold on to it, it's one thing for a feeling to spontaneously arise and then to sort of let it pass. It's another thing to entertain it, to hold on to it, to sort of delight in it, and to, nurture that feeling. Again, the spontaneous arousal of a feeling or appearance of a feeling, experience of a feeling, not a problem. It's when we start to really dig into it and maybe even delight in feeling angry, delight in unjust anger. So that's one way I think it could become sinful. The other way is, when obviously, and this isn't the feeling itself, but when we act on it. So not all of our actions are sort of physical actions in the world. We can have intellectual sort of actions, meaning like I have a feeling arise and then I start to think all these thoughts in conjunction with the feeling. So I think about, I'm annoyed at my children, and then I start to think about all these thoughts about, how I want to make their life miserable, and how I want to, what it would be like to not have children. And, right? I allow my mind, I engage in intellectual activities or actions intentionally that are fueled by the feeling. So I can act on the feeling in sinful ways, both in the world and intellectually. And maybe a third way that feelings can be sinful is not sinful. Let me give a caveat here. I think feelings can be disordered without being sinful. What I mean by that is, I think our feelings certain times we have the wrong feeling in a situation. And this can be because we have the wrong set of beliefs, right? We don't think the right things about the situation, and so our feeling tracks our beliefs, but our beliefs don't map onto reality. Does that make sense? So for example, when the old lady's going too slow, or the old man's going too slow in front of us in the car, we might get really angry because we think, gosh, they're holding me up, they shouldn't be driving, this is ridiculous, how dare they hold me up? Well, anger might be the right response to that set of beliefs, but it's certainly the wrong response to the situation. The situation sort of demands maybe compassion or patience, right? So in that sense, the feeling is disordered. That is, I shouldn't be having that feeling in that particular situation because I'm actually perceiving the situation wrongly. So if I was perceiving it rightly, I shouldn't be having that feeling. But the feeling itself, I didn't choose that feeling. I didn't will for that feeling to come up. So the feeling itself is amoral. I don't need to confess the feeling. But what I can begin to recognize, and this is where maybe that question actually gets interesting, is how about when we know that maybe we're not having feelings that are appropriate to the situation? What do we do in those cases? And it seems to me that one thing we can do is recognize that, hey, my feelings aren't mapping onto reality. I'm feeling angry here when I should feel sad. I'm feeling sad here when I should actually feel angry. I'm feeling happy here when I should feel sad. What we can begin to do is recognize that either because of some past experiences that we've had or some set of beliefs or thoughts, we're misperceiving the situation. We're thinking about it wrongly. And what we can try to do is perceive the situation rightly. How should I be thinking about this? What would the right set of thoughts be? And if we can try to habitually think rightly about a situation, sort of process through it and ask ourselves, what would a more realistic way of thinking about this be? Then hopefully we can begin to have the feelings that are appropriate to that situation, that are more congruent to the situation, that are ordered. So I want to make that distinction between we can have feelings that are disordered or not appropriate to the particular situation, even though they're congruent with our thoughts, beliefs, or perception of the situation. But we can think about the situation wrongly. In those cases, we need to get better at seeing reality and accepting reality, thinking like the truth or trying to find the truth in a situation. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. And I hope that's a nice question to come back with. My hope is to continue to do these, kind of keep them in the sweet spot of somewhere between 8 and 10 minutes. So anyway, there you go. Are thoughts sinful? Ultimately, no. They could be if we entertain them. They could be if we act on them. But they can certainly be disordered or incongruent with the situation, and we should try gently, with patience and compassion, self-compassion, to bring our thoughts into congruence with reality. Thanks. We'll talk to you guys soon. If you like what we're doing at Ask a Catholic Therapist, follow us on Facebook. If you want to ask a question, email us at askacatholictherapist@gmail.com. Don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to the channel in order to get more great content. Peace.